Hey everyone. So I guess the first big thing to talk about is that Vegapunk really laid down the gauntlet with this chapter, saying that, yeah, the fate of the world basically lies in the hands of those that find the legendary treasure, One Piece. And on top of confirming to us that, yes, we are in the endgame, I also like how this speech kinda harkens back a little bit to Doflamingo's speech at Marineford in a way that, in the same sense that how justice is determined by the winners, so too does does that also apply to the One Piece. Those that find the legendary treasure determine the fate of the world, which is a very roundabout way of also confirming that, yeah, unlike with Roger, whoever succeeds in finding the One Piece this time around, the government's basically screwed. Everything they've tried to covet to maintain order in their way, it all comes crashing down the moment the One Piece is found, which, with that being the case, we also got to talk about the other big thing, which is that by the end of this chapter, we see Jay Garcia defeated and assumingly going to die, or is dead, which in itself tracks with him being the main antagonist among the 5 Elder Stars of this arc. But now with having even one of them gone, is really going to cause a shift in the balance of power, and I'm really curious now of what they're going to do, because on one hand, silence is the golden rule in a situation like this, but on the other hand, we also have to remember Morgans is still out there, and as long as he's alive, absolutely none of the government's secrets are safe. They're not going to be able to keep Jay Garcia's death a secret for long, and in that situation, no matter how they spin it, the ultimate truth will be revealed, which is that the Elders, the Celestial Dragons, are not, hell, even Emu, are not, every one of them are not gods. These groups that rule over the world are not infallible. They can be killed. Their immortality is a falsehood. So it's like, in the aftermath of this, it is going to have a big ramifications that I can only see going terrible for the Elder Stars, for the Elders and the Celestial Dragons. Honestly, like, there's just no way this something doesn't come from this. Now with that said, Vegapunk also revealed a very interesting tidbit of info about many of the rare races of the world, like the Three Eyes, the Buccaneers, and Lunarians, which the reveal itself isn't all that surprising when we're told that they were made rare races because the government made it so, because they needed to ensure these very specific races wouldn't rise up again in the aftermath of the Void Century. But the funny thing is, as history has shown, when you try to suppress any particular people or culture, they tend to rise up. And even though, so far as we know, these tribes are all but extinct now, with only one person, only one descendant for each of their tribes, that doesn't mean they still don't have some role to play. And as Vegapunk has said, it's been left up to their descendants to do what they will with the information he's granted them. So it's even if people like pretty much King and Pudding were all pretty much antagonists before. And even if they remain antagonists, they still are going to have a role to play in what becomes of in this final huge battle for sure. Also, as a slightly lighter note, you gotta imagine the numerous thoughts going through Margot's head with this reveal, because he initially chalked up a lot of what Whitebeard said at the time as a drunken rant, but now he's really thinking, holy shit, the old man was right. And to make it even better, these rare races were, in effect, the true gods that used to live on the Red Line. So, like, everything is unraveling in a way that it's like, yeah, the world as it exists is basically untenable. It's untenable, and everything is starting to fray apart. With that said, though, with that said as well, Vegapunk doesn't mince words when he says that the one hitch in everything he's saying is that whoever finds the One Piece is likely not going to be one Joy Boy had wanted, which, when talking about someone like Luffy, who just stumbles into the role of being a hero without the intent of being one, that's not an entirely untrue statement, although simultaneously, in knowing his true ambition, knowing Luffy's true ambitions, and how he envisions his view of the world, and how he wants it to be, it's still pretty damn close, and it just kind of makes me wonder more, what is going to be Luffy's decision when he finds the One Piece? What is going to be his response, finding out the truth versus how Roger reacted when he learned the truth about the One Piece, and what will be his answer? What will be Luffy's answer to the question of what comes after the One Piece, after finding the One Piece? Like, it's all these little, like, perspective questions now that it's like you pretty much tend to. It's all. A lot of this right now is about perspective. It's all about, like, what exactly is Luffy going to do differently than what Roger did? Because as it was said many times before, like, a lot of the reasons as to why Roger had made the decisions he did is because like, pretty much time, like time wasn't pretty much ready for like everything that's supposed to happen to the world, everything that's supposed to change about the world. It wasn't ready for Roger. It was ready for someone else, someone who could maybe in fact guide the world on a path. It was in essence waiting for Luffy in a sense. Like, Roger was not the one that Joy Boy was waiting for, as it was stated many times during essentially the flashback where Odin had joined Roger. So it's like with Luffy more or less supposedly being the one that the world is waiting, Luffy being having attained the power of Joy Boy, and him in essence being the one the world is supposedly waiting for. What exactly is going to be that particular thing, that what exactly is the world waiting for with Luffy's answer is, I think, going to be the big question. Although I'm not going to lie, despite everything I've just said, if I'm also being frank, there's a part of me that can, but even though I know it's probably likely Luffy is going to be the one to find the One Piece by the end of all this, part of me can't help but kind of dig deep into the rabbit hole of One Piece crack theories and actually want to see Buggy reach the One Piece first, just to see what absolute insanity would fall from such an event happening. Like, I know it's probably not going to happen, but even knowing that even knowing that it probably won't, that just begs the question even more of what is going to be Buggy's role to play in this final stretch of the story. What kind of madness does Oda have planned for Buggy? Like, Buggy is like the man with the fucking plan. Buggy is, like, I guess you could say, the man with the fucking plan. He's ready to stir up some shit, and it's like, what exactly are you planning? It just begs the question, Oda, what the fuck are you planning for Buggy? Like, this is someone we've either ignored or we've jokingly hyped up. But right now, Buggy is in a place where it's like, okay, Oda, what are you doing with this motherfucker? What is going to be his big splash in this whole final stretch of the story? Like, it's got me intrigued, to say the least, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll, but you can click the bell, the subscribe button, and just share it around, guys. Dark Knight signing off. Later, everyone.